I am an Arkham fan. I know, I'm a hero. And like all heroes, I love the Arkham games. But for the longest time, I couldn't give a damn about the comic books. And I honestly, I don't know why. Why haven't I given them a chance? I love comic books, and I wanted comics set in the universe since the first game came out. And I thought it was actually pretty cool when, as a kid, they started releasing comic books. But I never went out of my way to read them personally. So I'm going to change that. I'm reading every single one in order chronologically to the best of my ability, but there is quite a bit. So this video is going to be in multiple parts. I hope you can understand that. And if you happen to like this video at any point, consider subscribing. It would just help me out a lot. All right, that's the only time I'm going to ask you to subscribe or do anything like that. Let's just jump into it. So as I talk into this shitty microphone that I can't seem to get rid of, I'm going to tell you about the first issue that we're going to be talking about. Batgirl begins. The first time Batgirl puts on the cowl at all. We start our journey with Barbara at her job at the library, daydreaming about when she helped Batman during the events of Arkham Origins. And while she's daydreaming, she's completely ignoring a guy who just wants to see if what he ordered came in. But who cares? Because it's past 1. And Barbara, she has a lunch date. She runs, scurries even, to meet her father. So Gordon starts saying that he is helping use taxpayer money to hold an assembly about how Batman is bad. They want to make Batman seem like a supernatural force, because how can one man do what he does? And says, hey, you should come. So she does. We jump to Bullock, opening with the speech when out of nowhere, Gordon gets captured in goo. Yeah, that happens. Ooh, it was Killer Moth, who starts going off, saying that Batman is actually in bed with the police and government. And then he's allowed by law to go outside and against the law. So if the ones that people deem as good can have a Batman, then why can't the bad ones have one as well? Why can't the underworld have its own Batman? Barbara, having ran when her father got captured, comes back in her homemade costume. The first time she is Batgirl at all. And she starts calling him a loser, in which Killer Moth cuts Gordon's out of the goo, which is dangling, so he just falls, and Batgirl catches him. Batman shows up behind Killer Moth, finishes him off. We then cut to Batgirl talking to Batman. Now, Batman doesn't want her to do this. This is a first time thing. It's too dangerous. To which Batgirl tells him that she knows how to fight and can be a detective, and that being Batman is just too damn awesome. You fucking go, girl. Does seem pretty damn awesome, doesn't it? You know, until you're stuck in a fucking prison or a mental hospital, and then which you're fucked. This issue is actually very nice because while it's not exactly adding much to Arkham as a whole, seeing Batgirl instead of Robin's origins first, chronologically, is actually very interesting to me. You would think it would be Dick who was the first to really be part of it, even if Batman doesn't want her doing what she's doing. And the fact that the first villain she goes against is Killer Moth. And so yes, while this comic doesn't add so much in terms of story, it's a fun read that I encourage everyone to kind of go check out if they like Batgirl. It's I think it's worth a read. Taking place shortly after Batman Begins, this comic opens with her earlier outing. Batgirl has hunted down Killer Croc, and out of nowhere, Batman just kind of appears and uses a flash bomb to blind him for 6 hours and takes down Killer Croc himself. After blinding Croc and Batgirl as well, actually, like friendly fire there, he tells you that he has warned her over and over again to take off the costume, and then proceeds to call her a copycat fangirl and to hang a poster. We now jump to Harleen Quinzel at Arkham Asylum in front of the warden. It is her opinion that the patient's fear and paranoia can be treated by being moved to an open environment. Then she says he is treated like an oddity, a cage zoo animal. She's obviously talking about the Joker. Shocker. And she gets denied. They reviewed her report along with Dr. Young and Dr. Whistler. Dr. Young, we all know, will make the Titan formula in Arkham Asylum. Dr. Whistler, if you don't remember, was also in Asylum. She was shown briefly at the start of the game when Zaz holds Mike hostage. You can also hear her in the interview tapes for Killer Croc, Zaz, Riddler, and even the first Harley tape. Anyway, the ruling is that Joker is too cunning and manipulative, which, yeah, he tells her that Joker is being removed from her care for her own mental health, and that Joker will remain in his cage like the savage beast that he is. She returns to the Joker where she states that she failed. She couldn't have her pudding moved, nor could she ever see him again, as she is being moved to another part of Arkham. Joker says that he needs to be out of the cell, with Batman, Robins, and Batgirls out there, with no one to kill him. But Harleen gets an idea for poor Mr. J. She gets to leave Arkham every night, so why doesn't she put a smile on Gotham's face in his honor? And now we jump back with Barbara, sitting on a fountain as she talks to her father on the phone. A monkey ends up handing her a leaflet and jumps away. That's real. The leaflet informing us of Liquid Black Circus and Carnival for refined tastes, and that a preview show is happening today. The circus is a great showing with wild animals, talented weirdos, clowns, and unhealthy, greasy, and sugary foods. After she eats the cotton candy, she spots a kid next to the tiger before an explosion happens when Harley Quinn appears in full costume. She comes bringing medical advice. Gotham has gone fat, with the Joker locked up who keeps them on their toes. So she writes a prescription, like any caring doctor does. A small dose of piss off kitty cat and call her in the morning. I'm definitely calling her in the morning. Batgirl sprints to change into her costume like a fangirl, while Harley sees two hyenas asking who is a better sidekick when she tells said hyenas about the chaos she just caused. Batgirl jumps into action, away from an explosion because she's so badass and cool, and she says that Robin is the best sidekick. So after taking care of Joker Rats, Batgirl handles the tiger, and they both have a vertical leap of a small skyscraper. She uses her bat claw, shooting it at a train and letting oil spill everywhere, blinding the tiger. And once again, like the badass she is, she rides the tiger while it's thrashing around and unable to see. And how does she know how to ride a tiger? From a rodeo book, of course. Dummy. Harley comes back and they have a little girl talk. Batgirl starts going on about how Joker loves only murder, madness, and manipulation and would never love her. This causes Harley to defend their love and her decision, most importantly, her decision to trust him. Harley says that Batgirl has no idea what she's talking about, but Batgirl compares it to the tiger Harley set free. The tiger ran for freedom, but Joker wouldn't. He would be after Batman because Joker is more interested in who will put him back in the cage. It all ends with Harley escaping with those hyenas. Batman's still not approving of Barbara being Batgirl, but she doesn't care because she's not doing this for him. She's doing it for Gotham. Batman can't be everywhere all at once. I actually like this comic. While this isn't exactly that great of a storyline, it's short enough and weird enough to really keep me engaged. I love Harley anyway, so this was very excited for me. And I love when Barbara and Harley face each other in media. I think it's just kind of a really fun comic. This is a 16-page one-shot that basically tells what happens right before Arkham Asylum. I'm not going to go super in detail because you kind of know what's being talked about, like Joker holding the mayor hostage, but I'm just going to point out some interesting connections. First, This is peak art. I love this spread in particular, and once again, I'm reminded why I'm so attracted to clown girls. The whole time Batman is driving Joker to Arkham Asylum, he is talking to Oracle and how he's skeptical because all the major arrests came from perfect tip-offs that led to perfect arrests. And he believes that this has to be linked to someone who is in the criminal underworld. We see the arrests of Zaz, Scarecrow, and then finally Joker. We see Warden Sharp commanding the guards and gives a hell of a speech. We straighten out Arkham today. We straighten out Gotham City tomorrow, which prompted a guard to comment about him running for mayor. We also see Harley. Thank God. I was worried that I'd go an issue without Harley. She finds Bane, who is hung up. The same place we find him hung up in the game. What's crazy is Bane asks, "Who's there?" because he can't really see. And she responds with, "Your perky, rehabilitated nurse assistant." And once again, I like clown girls. And then she injects him, saying that they need to keep him nice and quiet. It's like a sedative or something, I think. I'm actually not quite sure. Truthfully, this issue is really fun as a one-shot. I like seeing the arrests and just how much Batman could see the flags of how perfect everything lined up. In the game, he says that Joker surrendered almost without a fight, which is basically what happens. It's cool to see because we get more information on just how perfect everything went for the events of Asylum to unfold. So I'd recommend checking it out, but it doesn't really add enough to warrant going out of your way and rating it for context. But you know what? Go read it because it's fun. You get a little bit more insight, and it's just 16 pages. What can go wrong? And the artwork is peak. Have you ever wondered what happened in Metropolis that Talia talks about? Well, this is just the details of that. So I'm going to talk about this as if I dropped the hottest tea of a century. So it starts with Bruce Wayne and a keynote in Metropolis, where he sees Talia, and then it switches to 5 years before, at the Palace of Shiva. A group is assaulting Talia as they look for the Chalice of Destiny. It's that chalice from Arkham City that Batman drinks out of. So while Talia gets assaulted by the men looking for the chalice, Batman tries to help, but ends up getting hurt bad. And the group end up with the chalice. Talia and Raish take Batman to their home in the mountains of Tibet. And after a few days, he is nursed back. So Raish gives him a small tour and basically tells him that he has no heir and says that Batman and his daughter should make one. They should fuck. So they do. But after they fuck, and when Talia is now asleep, Batman gets into the cowl and starts looking around and finds a room filled with Wonder City robots and shit. Turns out that Raish is looking to rid evil from the world by mass genocide, and Raish actually asks Bruce to join him. To which Bruce says no, and then Raish reveals that he has sent those men to get the chalice, which he already had, and had put his daughter in danger, that Bruce shows up at the house in Tibet. And then Batman leaves out the window. And then it picks up 5 years later. We are once again in Metropolis, the same night as the keynote, where Bruce and Talia are having dinner. So naturally, they fuck again. And in the morning, Talia shows him a sword. The sword, you know, from Arkham City. And for him to use it so they can command. He says no. Talia calls her assassins, but Batman leaves. We then see Bruce getting off the plane in Gotham. Alfred drives while Barbara sits in the back seat with Bruce. She immediately starts going on about how she doesn't like Talia, and that every time she's involved, it fucks with everything and makes things worse. Batman fires back, saying that it's a personal matter and that he gets to decide how he lets it affect him. Barbara asks how he can think like that, and Bruce says it's the same way that he allowed her and Dick to date behind his back several years ago, and that he gave them the courtesy to do that. But then we see a page of Talia going back to her dad with the sword, saying that Bruce refused the offer. but Raish says not to worry. He scheduled a meeting with someone who can finally help move forward with his goal. A professor by the name Hugo Strange. I actually really like this one. It's like a side story, kind of just adding details to that one little story plot. And this one hits me hard because at the end of Arkham City, and it's revealed that Hugo was a puppet and that Raish was behind all of it. I never really understood it fully. This really helps me rationalize it and his motives. It really shines a light on Raish as a character. I think it's just pretty fascinating. There's not much I can really say past that. I just think that this is a very interesting one to go and check out. But you also get to see why Barbara doesn't like Talia, why she's snotty when she thinks of her in Arkham City. I really started really loving Bruce and Talia's relationship in a lot of areas, but I don't think that there was enough of it. I still don't personally feel so attached to Talia dying in Arkham City, but it definitely helps rationalize the ending as a whole for me. Taking place only 6 months after the events of Arkham Asylum. Joker, now back in custody of the asylum, describes his life after losing to Batman and his life after taking the Titan. He talks about how Batman cheated with his explosive gel and how everything he took, like Gotham and Arkham, was taken back as usual. And now it's time to plan the next one. But he knows that there won't be a next one. There won't be a next time. He describes how the Titan formula is eating at him alive. He goes on about this being the end without a city in flames, no escalating death count, no Batman breaking his promise to kill, and one final joke for an old friend. Take our last bow together. And it's not fair that this is how it ends, while admitting that it is a good joke on himself. We then see Harley, who has been separated from him. She overhears guards talking. Joker is laughing now, but everyone knows he's done for, and that some of the guys are looking to make sure he doesn't even last that long. And Harley finally realizes that the rumors are true, that her puddin' is sick and maybe even truly dying. But she screams that they won't take him. Not before his time. She won't let them. We then cut to Mayor Quincy Sharp about to go on Channel 3 News. He talks to a psychiatrist, one Hugo Strange, and it's revealed that Sharp is afraid of talking in front of an audience. In front of the cameras, he's still guided by Hugo in his ear to say the right things. He talks about the dedication to City Hall being the first step in restoring Gotham's battered morale. He also states that he sent warnings to so-called super criminals that they are no longer tolerated here. Jack Ryder, the man behind the Crimson Chin, fires back. In other words, Mr. Mayor, anyone who puts on a costume in Gotham is branded an outlaw. To which Sharp responds, "That's exactly what I'm saying." Then Ricky Vale spits flames and says this, "But what about Batman and his allies? They saved the city dozens of times. Even during the Arkham riots, Batman was instrumental in stopping the Joker's plot. No disrespect meant to our distinguished guests." Oh, but Miss Vale is not done yet. She immediately follows it up. But security footage taken during the riots indicates that the then Warden Sharp did not play a key role in restoring order, and that in fact, it appears that the Warden was unconscious for most of the evening. I'm sorry for all the times I talk shit about you, Queen. Please forgive me, for I am not known your power and your greatness. You may step on. Sharp tells her that she's missing the point, to not fixate on the past, but that's what fools do. I'm gonna start snapping with this poetry. People of vision look toward the future, and that anyone following Joker's or Two-Face's footsteps will be caught, committed, and rotting in Arkham, because that's worked so well as we have seen. Turns out Batman and Gordon had watched that news segment, saying that Vicky was right, because she was. That Batman was the real hero of that night, and that Joker may not be a problem soon enough, if the rumors are indeed true. But then they talk about people trying to take his place, such as Terry and Tracy, brother and sister by the gang name of TNT. And while they were just mere bottom barrel criminals a few months ago, they are now in Titan hands, which proves a different rumor to be true. Titan made his way from Arkham to Gotham. Batman tracks down Two-Face, as according to Oracle, TNT were working for him. He finds Two-Face amongst his gang, and after I got distracted for several minutes by something, Batman decides to make a deal with Harvey for his information. In exchange, Batman won't tell Gordon where he is for half an hour. Two-Face explains that yes, some crates of the Titan formula washed up on Gotham. Now, Two-Face took the whole lot for the coin attached to selling it. That's all he wanted. He just wanted to sell it. He gave orders to his men to keep the Titan locked away in the club cellar, but TNT decided to use it for themselves. TNT were actually giving themselves small doses of it to help their body get used to it and use it to its full potential. They want to gain control of the whole city, and that there is word that they are planning an attack on Gordon, Sharp, and the entire city council. So Batman concludes that they will attack the ceremony at City Hall. So while Sharp talks nonsense at City Hall, TNT reveals themselves. Batman just kind of hits him with the tranquilizer, and they start going down. Like, it's actually a very quick fight. Uh, but that's just kind of hits him with tranquilizers. Strange, who is in communication with both of them, says that this was a possibility and that they are prepared to do what must be done for their cause. Terry responds, "You know it, Chief. Light it up." Now, Batman instantly knows that they are obviously working for someone, and their heat starts rising rapidly in their bodies. They are going to explode. And they do, killing 300 people and doing billions in damages. And with this, Sharp now gets support for martial law and declaring Gotham a war zone. And now the GCPD is marginalized as Sharp campaigns for a private militia. Batman and Alfred know that he is working for someone bigger than even him. He wouldn't be able to create the idea for Arkham City, a section of town meant to hold those in that were seen as criminals, forced to do what they need to so they can survive. The person behind all of this is the real power of Arkham City. Now, Batman just needs to figure out how to stop him. Wow. Just wow. This is the best one so far. I included more dialogue and everything and more detail into presenting the story, and I'll be doing that going forward because we are now in the comics that move the games along instead of adding details to like random storylines. This is some of my favorite Arkham moments so far, even from the games. Like I love this. Now I am reading these and writing these in order. So as I write this, I haven't actually read anymore. This is the best so far. From Joker, who is no longer laughing, and Harley knowing that she can't be with him as he lies there, dying away, wondering if someone will kill him before his time. To TNC exploding City Hall and killing 300, not to mention the billions of damages, but 300 is a lot of people. It shows why Arkham City became popular enough amongst the public to be built. You really get to see how everything is working to Strange's favor. It makes him an even more interesting and powerful villain than him even in the game. Paul Dini once again proves why he was born to write Batman. And that ends part one. So far, I really am actually loving this journey as we go through the comic. I find it so fascinating the more and more we venture further, learning more and more lore and expanding the universe. We may not have had a great game for 11 years, but these comics are a constant reminder that this world works in more ways than one. The games are written from pretty good to straight up masterpieces of writing. And the comics are kind of becoming right up there with them. This part was a little short, but part two and the rest will be much longer, trust me. I'm already finishing the writing for part two, and it has many more comics to go through. So check it out when it comes out. I have other videos that are coming out between then, so watch out for those. Thanks for watching. I'm Ace. Hi. Goodbye.